Catch 'em all Pokémon quiz. Can you name them all? Small, yellow, and the face of an entire franchise. Shocks included. Pikachu. Ready to ace this one. This dragon-like Pokémon breathes fire. Charizard. Here comes a tough one. Which Pokémon has a plant bulb on its back? Bulbasaur. Next question coming your way. This turtle Pokémon loves water. Squirtle. Ready for the harder stuff. Which fiery lizard Pokémon has a flame on its tail? Charmander. Ready for a new round. Which Pokémon sings opponents to sleep? Jigglypuff. Ready for a new round. Which sneaky Pokémon is part of Team Rocket? Meowth. Ready to challenge yourself even more. Which Pokémon has many evolution paths? Eevee. Here comes the next one. Which giant Pokémon blocks your path by sleeping? Snorlax. Ready for the harder stuff. Which ghost-type Pokémon always has a sinister grin? Jengar. Can you handle the next level? Which aura-fighting Pokémon looks like a jackal? Lucario. Next challenge up. Which psychic Pokémon was created in a lab? Mewtwo. Here comes a tough one. Which mythical Pokémon is known for its playfulness? Mew. Ready for more. Which Pokémon always has a headache? Psyduck. What's next? Let's find out. Which splashy Pokémon is famously weak? Magikarp. Here comes the next one. Which fearsome Pokémon evolves from Magikarp? Gyarados. Ready for the harder stuff. Which Pokémon helps travelers cross water? Lapras. You're doing great. On to the next. Which kind-hearted dragon Pokémon can fly fast? Dragonite. Next question coming your way. Which Pokémon has water cannons on its shell? Blastoise. Did you get it right? Which final evolution Pokémon has a flower on its back? Venusaur. Did you get it right? Which baby Pokémon is shaped like an egg? Togepi. Ready for more. Which Pokémon can transform into anything? Deidre. Ready to challenge yourself even more. Which strong Pokémon has 4 muscular arms? Machamp. Let's see if you can ace this one. Which psychic Pokémon holds spoons? Alakazam. Don't stop now. Which green bug Pokémon has blade-like arms? Scyther. Don't stop now. Which dark-type Eevee evolution glows at night? Umbreon. What's next? Let's find out. Which psychic evolution is elegant and sleek? Espeon. Moving on. Which fairy-type Eevee evolution has ribbons? Sylveon. Ready to ace this one. Which water-type evolution of Eevee can melt into water? Vaporeon. Let's see if you can ace this one. Which electric evolution has spiky fur? Jolteon. How much can you score? Which fiery Eevee evolution has a fluffy tail? Flareon. On to the next. Which legendary-looking dog Pokémon breathes fire? Arcanine. On to the next challenge. Which loyal fire-type Pokémon resembles a puppy? Growlithe. On to the next challenge. Which ninja frog Pokémon uses water shurikens? Greninja. Are you ready for the next question? Which fire and fighting Pokémon is inspired by a monkey? Infernape. Let's power through. Which grass Pokémon carries a whole tree on its back? Torterra. Are you getting better? Next. Which cute penguin Pokémon is a water type? Piplup. Can you handle the next level? Which fire-type Pokémon is a tiny monkey? Chimchar. Keep going. Which grass starter has a leaf on its head? Turtwig. Let's power through. Which owl Pokémon can spin in battle? Roll it. You're doing amazing. Here's another one. Which fiery kitten Pokémon has a tough attitude? Litten. What's next? Let's find out. Which playful seal Pokémon does water tricks? Poplio. Are you getting better? Next. Which dark-type Pokémon is a master of illusions? Zoroark. Moving on. Which dragon and ground Pokémon looks like a shark? Garchomp. Let's see how fast you can answer this. Which steel-type Pokémon has 4 legs and huge brain power? Metagross. Here comes the next one. Which dark Pokémon is said to appear before disasters? Absol. Now for something a little harder. Which rock and dark-type Pokémon is like a giant dinosaur? Tyranitar. Here comes the next one. Which legendary green serpent lives in the sky? Rayquaza. Can you handle the next level? Which guardian of the seas has giant wings? Lugia. You've reached the end of the Pokémon Trivia Challenge. Whether you're Team Pikachu or Team Charizard, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tag your Pokémon trainer buddies.